What's going on, poker players? My name is ACP here, and I'm going to be showing you a new cool web app that I made. It's called FlopStats. You can access it by going to flopstats.com. Right now, it's just a web app, but we're working on a mobile app too. But today, I'm going to show you how the web app works. Just give you sort of a quick rundown of the features. If you guys have any questions about how the app works, feel free to drop a comment below, and I will definitely answer that. So, here on the landing page, it talks about our features a little bit. But to, sort of jump right into it, we can do a new flop analysis by either clicking new flop analysis up here at top, or by just clicking start analyzing flops now. So here we have three screens. We have, one range here. We're calling that heroes range. We have a second range that you could enter. We're going to call that villains range. And then the flop. Now to run this app, we just need a heroes range, some sort of flop, and then if you want to compare that to another range, you can optionally enter the villains range. And all this app does is it lets you see how ranges hit flops. So if you've used something like Flopzilla before, very similar to that, we're trying to add all of that basic functionality. Obviously, the difference between this and something like Flopzilla is, Flopzilla is a tool that only works on Windows and costs $25. This tool can run in any web browser and is totally free. So, to use a really quick example here, let's say, you've been kind of down on your luck with Ace King off, because you've been missing flops lately, and you want to see how often that happens. How often does Ace King off hit the flop? How often does it miss the flop? So, we can give ourselves a range of just Ace King off, and we're not interested in a specific flop. We want to see how it does on all flops, so we can click the all flops button. And then once we've selected a flop and we've selected a heroes range, we now have this get results button available to us. So we can click that, and now we have this bar graph of all the possible hands that we've flopped. And about 57% of the time, all we've got is a high card. That, in this context, it sort of means we've missed the flop. Obviously, Ace King high can bluff catch, so that's why, it shows up as a high card. But, we can see some of the nutty hands that we flopped, right? We've got, two paired trips, straights, full houses. Get those few percent of the time. We have combo draw. Combo draw is either two draws, a straight draw and a flush draw together, or a pair and a draw. So in this case, with Ace King off, combo draw could be something like King Jack 10, because you flop top pair and a gut shot to the nuts. And then we flop top pair about 27% of the time. Got a few draws here, and that just sort of shows you how the hand breaks down. And all of these percentages add up to exactly 100%, as they should. So that's a really simple example. To use a different example, and in fact, I'm going to click new flop analysis to clear that. If you hit the back button, it actually remembers everything you've put in. Let's say we've got some particular flop they're interested in. Say we played a hand at the casino. Flop came 9-8 of clubs, 6 of hearts, and we're wondering what our, how our range hits this board. So let's say I raised under the gun, and I'm a pretty nitty poker player, so my under the gun range usually looks something like this. Right, so I can see, okay, how does my range hit that flop that came up? So we can get results, and we can see on the specific flop, we're doing pretty okay, right? We've got a high card, 42% of the time. The other 50% of the time, we've got, either, an overpair, trips, or some sort of draw. So pretty good. Now, say we want to compare this to what we think the villain called us with. So maybe we think they called us with tens or lower. We think any pairs higher than that, they would 3-bet. And maybe some suited cards, some suited connectors, and maybe ace queen, ace jack, and king queen off. So now we want to compare our range to their range on this flop. So we can do that as well. And heroes in blue, villains in red. We can see some of these categories are pretty similar. We both have a set roughly same percentage of the time. Villain has, they have more 2-pair combos. They have more draws in general, combo draws, and more straight draws. We have more over pairs. They don't have any. And we have some high card. They have a bit less high card. Sometimes they have nothing, right? They just totally miss the flop. Don't have ace high, and they've also got some weak pairs. So we can use this to come up with a betting strategy, right? Maybe we get raised on the flop, and we can see, well, they have a lot of draws in their range, so maybe we would continue a lot against a raise on the flop because we think they're raising all of their draws. That's one way we could use this here, perhaps. And the nice thing too is, if say we want to share this with a friend, right? Say we're discussing this hand with a friend, we could get these results. Click this to get a URL. Then we can open a new window. Put that tiny URL here, maybe put it somewhere like Facebook or Twitter, and then it takes us right to these same results here. So how convenient is that? So lastly, I want to show you one other thing that you can do, and that's you can save or load ranges. So, say this is our under the gun range, and we want to save this just in case maybe tomorrow we come back and we want to use this range again. So let's save this. We'll call it UTG. So we save it. And then we see here, if we go to load range, now it's here. Now we can delete the range if we want to. Say we don't need it anymore. Or we can load it into a panel if we want. So, let's do a new flop analysis. We got a blank screen here. Maybe we want to load that range that we created into villain. So we'll load it, and boom, now we've got that range. And the last thing that I want to say, just quality of life tip here, is that you can also drag to sort of highlight a bunch of hands at once. So say we start here, and we just clicking down, and we click down, drag our mouse, then we can highlight all these. And to unhighlight them, we can do the same thing. We can click down, drag our mouse, and now they're all gone. So yeah, that's all the features that we've got. We can look at a range on all flops, range on a specific flop. We can compare range versus range, and we can save and load ranges. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions about how this works, or if you have any feedback, be sure to drop it in the comments below. Thanks, guys.